What a lovely day. The birds are chirping, singing, dancing. The breeze is breezing. The dogs are dogging. And I am back with another self-help video. What's up, my homies? So today we are talking about rejection. Specifically, we are talking about what do you do when you are rejected. And the answer is way simpler than what you might think. Be rejected in the moment, okay? And yes, you're gonna feel shit. If you have the ability to center yourself in the moment, you're going to have an easier time to get out of the rejection mode. So once the situation is gone and past and you can focus on what's current, you're going to have an easier time to deal with this. For some of you, you can do that immediately, and for some of you, it might take even a week before you're kind of in a better headspace after that rejection. And it doesn't matter what rejection is, it really doesn't matter what the rejection is. If it's a rejection that hurts you, then it's going to hurt you. Even if it was something that you shouldn't have taken personally at all, if there's a level there in some way that needed to unlock a demon for you to now combat, that's what's going to happen, okay, in that rejection. Because here's the thing, once you do this, once you do what I'm about to explain now, you're going to have the rejection, you're going to feel bad, but firstly, you're going to be able to get out of it a lot faster. You're going to be able to put yourself in a higher headspace again, to allow yourself to deal with your old self mentality and your old self situation, so that you can then elevate to the next level. The second thing it's going to do is it's going to help you do that faster. You're going to have this rejection, you're going to face the rejection, and from there on out, you will not have that rejection fear again. Maybe once or twice, depending on how much of a insecure phase you're going through, because we have the ebbs and flows. Depending on that, the insecurity of this rejection might come back once or twice. Also depends on how strong this rejection is and this fear is behind it. It's plain and simple, really. All you've got to do is just feel what you're feeling. And that's pretty much the answer to every feeling event that worries you or problem that you think you have. If you're afraid of something, just feel that fear. And it's hard at first, but it gets way easy. It gets so easy once you learn how to just feel. So the trick, number one trick, the tip, the hint is to start just feeling. And here's how you're going to do that. So you're going to be presented with rejection. So my fear of rejection of women, I would walk into a bar and I would be able to be completely present, but then I would notice someone staring at me, and then I would notice someone else staring at me, and I just freaked out. Instead of thinking what's going on here, my mind always went to let's get out of here. So the first step number one to getting over fear of rejection is to identify what emotions it brings up. Thoughts as well. Emotions and thoughts, they coincide. Think about what you're thinking about, okay? And you feel what you're feeling. If you're more mental and you're less feeling, you would actually want to practice the feeling more. You would actually try and grow that more. But you can start by paying attention to the thoughts. This is how I started. Once I started doing that and then feeling, the transition happened in one single day. From me struggling to feel, to me now being present in a situation that I should be hating, my old self would have hated, and I'm now loving it because I'm actually feeling all the feelings. And simply doing that is a relief. More than anything, you're relieving that feeling, okay? And what's going to happen is once you're feeling that feeling, because the thoughts can connect you to the feelings, which is, if you're very mental, that might be your path, you know, your key to the door to get to your feeling. When I would be in a situation like that, I walk into a bar and I see, and I'm having a good time, I'm dancing, there's not much going through my head, I'm just being present, but then I see a girl looking at me, and then all of a sudden I notice the thoughts coming instantly. They start sprouting, okay? And what I started doing was, firstly, I started paying attention to actually feeling on me where it hurts. Because here's the thing, if you have a pain, especially if you're an energy person, I don't remember what the name is, one of the clairs, but the clairs where you sense energy. But that's actually I think that's just the basic. I think that's the foundation. I think we can all do that. But I stand for correction, okay? Like, I'm not sure, but it makes sense because a lot of people do this. A lot of people do things. What do? You fall on the ground, you knock your knee. As a baby, what do you instinctively do? You put your hand there. That's just a side note on the psychic stuff. When it comes to back to fear of rejection, so if you're a feeling energy person, like for me now, as I was imagining this certain circumstance, I was feeling a pain or a discomfort. It was like a burning sensation actually running up my arm. And if I pay attention to that, sometimes that will bring thoughts to me. Now, you can do this in multiple ways. I'm sure you can figure out your own way. You can figure out what you're feeling and you can use that to unlock the thoughts, right? But your thoughts can first connect you to the feelings. If I was in that situation, my thoughts would pop up saying something like, let's get out of here. And instead of me just going, yes, let's do that, instead of doing that and thinking that my thoughts in my brain was me saying that, I rather focused on that as just a thought, or just a voice. You can imagine it even as its own entity. Sometimes I have that, and that gets very freaky. It actually feels a little bit like psychosis, I'm not even gonna lie. So that's what the thought would be, right? And instead of me saying, yes, let's agree with this thought, I would just observe the thought, and then I would focus on why am I feeling that, or why am I thinking that, okay? Because the feeling, why am I feeling that, sometimes you can't figure that out, but you can sometimes as well. Same with why am I thinking, sometimes you can't, sometimes you can. There's a big sucker boy. But that's what I would do. I would observe the thought, and that would allow me to connect to my body. I don't know if this is going to work for everybody, but it did work for me. I would climb into a cold, freezing cold shower, middle of fucking winter. I've even got footage. I've got footage of me doing this and what I was experiencing, and I even was talking out loud on the camera as I was doing this. I would go into ice cold showers in the middle of winter, and I would just be there and see what's feeling, because I used to have this thing where I proper thought I was dying. In my whole school, for the whole of prep school and the whole of high school, I was the only kid who had to ask to get out of the pool because I was too cold. Purely because my mental games were playing tricks on me, saying freezing is a bad thing. If I'm just gonna be here, and I'm just going to be here no matter what, then I might as well just be here. And that's literally what I started doing. And I just started resting in the water. I got to a point where I was standing in this ice cold shower in the middle of negative zeros and negative degree winters, and I would be not even feeling cold at all, because the thoughts unlocked the feelings of all the coldness. You want to learn how to be present in an uncomfortable situation, go and put yourself in uncomfortable situations, right? But if you're too afraid to go into public with the girls or something like that, start with something else. Start with jumping in the pool, the cold pool, and swimming 15 laps every day. Step number 1, pay attention to your thoughts. Be present, pay attention to your thoughts. If it's too much, if you can't figure anything out, if you're so freaking foggy, then you go on to step number 2 or step number 0, whatever you want. You could do this before or after, but all I'm saying is, my point is, start breathing. Take nice big breaths. You feel like you're phlegming up and you're coughing, and because sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes our energies in certain situations unlock actual physical characteristics or traits for us to focus on. So if your throat chakra is getting clogged up because you're afraid to talk, right? Doesn't matter who it is, whether it's another race because you don't have exposure to that, whether it's a difference in age gap, or whatever it is, whatever's freaking you out, that's what you should go and talk to. And what I was saying is, if you feel like you've got a block, the key word there was feel, dude. You feel it. So start feeling it, okay? And it doesn't even matter how it looks on the external factor, because what I've noticed, at least, is as long as you're doing the internal work, the external work just keeps presenting positively. For example, in the past, I would be looking at this chick and I would freak out. And I would be like, let's avoid. And my whole body posture would be like, let's avoid. And my thoughts would be, let's avoid. So nothing is going to happen. And then I would be like, why didn't anything work out? Right? So I then started doing this. I then started paying attention to what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. And what I noticed is, in the past, when I would try to confront this fear or this thing, I would just keep staring at this chick. And that just got awkward, dude. Like, why? Why are you just staring at me? That sort of thing. You know what I mean? So I just couldn't find what to do in that situation. I tried to confront this thing by actually confronting it physically. And that's not how you deal with your problems. Believe it or not. That will come. It has to come. And we've got a whole thing on problem solving. That was the first video we did. Go and check that video out for all the problem solving. And once you've got a problem, you can deal with it. But right now, with this fear of rejection thing, if I go back to what I was saying, if I'm looking at this girl and I'm freaking out, but I would keep staring at her just to try and confront that. But that's not confronting, because all I was doing was confronting the external element. I was not confronting the internal element. I was not being present here right now, feeling what I'm feeling. I can feel it on me. I can feel it on my aura. I can feel it in my emotions. What am I feeling? Literally, you just go in your head and you stop whatever thoughts are running through there now. and you just start going through this, okay? And this doesn't matter now. At this point, it doesn't matter if you want to keep looking at the girl or if you just want to get away from the girl because maybe she'll block you, as long as you're focused on the inside. So you can be focused on your thoughts. You don't have to be focused on external elements all the time. So just do that. And if you are going to struggle to do that while you're looking at her, obviously look away. If you want to just go through your night and then go home and look at it afterwards, you can do that as well, but that'll just be a slower process. That's that one. So step number 1 was focus, be present, feel, think, and focus on the feelings and thoughts. Step number 2 is then to do your breathing. Make sure that you're breathing properly to allow you to be present. If you're disciplined, you can go and find those. But if you're not disciplined, if you just want to breathe, guys, I don't care what breathing you do, just don't do this. That's the only breathing that you shouldn't be doing. The next thing that we move on to is actually, I think I kind of covered what I need to cover. If you do need a little more assistance with actually understanding rejection, essentially where it comes from is a wound from our inside, and usually I've noticed it's a childhood wound. And yes, I will most absolutely be making another video on childhood and inner child work. For now, just when it comes to rejection, fear of rejection, or when it comes to even if you're avoidant or whatever it is, you'll know when to use this. Anybody can use this for any emotion. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's anger. Anger is another huge one, how to deal with your anger, right? But this specifically is how to deal with your fear of rejection, because anger, there's a couple more physical steps you might need to take. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it there. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, check out my other content. I've got gaming, I've got driving, I've got a whole bunch of cool stuff, music as well, pretty cool. So go and check that stuff out. Otherwise, if you want other helpful tidbits and teachings, go and check out my other Josh Owen channels, and I hope you can find something that you enjoy, all right, or that helps you out, because that's another big thing that I'm aiming for. I actually want to help people out. Thank you very much. I love you, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.